I've been getting asked this question a lot in the comments lately, basically what led me to find the diagnosis of my hip dysplasia, my torn labrum, and then FAI. So kind of a little background on me. I grew up playing a million different sports. I was a college track and field athlete, so grew up very active, moving around, everything like that. Last year I was coaching track and I came off of a hurdle drill, and the second my foot hit the ground, it felt like someone shot me in the hip, stabbing, super painful. The rest of that week it was inflamed, and then honestly after that it really wasn't ever that bad unless I was like playing sand volleyball and went to dig or something like that. And that was basically the rest of the year. Fast forward, in January of 2025, I had a torn shoulder labrum, and so I had that repaired. After that, I was immobile because of the surgery, and so just with the limitations, I wasn't as active anymore, and I was sitting and laying more in bed, and so that sitting, I started feeling more pains in my hip that started to come back. The pains were a little bit different. Instead of it being sharp, it was more dull, achy. Honestly, my quad would cramp and then it would creep over into my glute. So I thought that was kind of weird. Honestly, I kind of knew it was my labrum just from doing my own research. And then, I don't know, I just knew. Then in the summer of this year, I finally went to actually get it checked out and get my MRI and x-rays and everything like that. And I basically was just waiting for the doctor to say, yes, you do have a torn hip labrum. What I didn't know is that I also had hip dysplasia, and that's what was causing my torn hip labrum. So when you have hip dysplasia, so your hips, this is your femur, this is the head of your femur, and then your pelvis sits on top. And so in a normal hip joint, your pelvis should sit perfectly on top of the head. And then your labrum is in between, so it has like a little bit of a cushion. So you have all this protection, right? With hip dysplasia, your your pelvis only covers it depends on your angle, right? So it only covers a certain point. Mine's pretty bad. I have 14 degrees on one side and 15 degrees on the other. And so basically it's bone on bone. And so I'm really flexible. I'm really mobile. And that bone on bone, after years of playing sports and college track and all these things, I mean, it really was just a matter of time. And so bone on bone, that's kind of jumping or pushing right into my labrum. So that's why I have a torn hip labrum. So I would highly recommend, if you do keep having those similar symptoms or torn labrum symptoms, or you have a torn labrum, I would recommend getting x-rays to go see if you do have hip dysplasia, because oftentimes a torn hip labrum is caused by something else. That being said, my symptoms are a little bit different now, as since January, my symptoms have kind of progressed worse. Right now, if I walk for 30 minutes, I already start feeling my hip. Sometimes it's sharp every time I take a step. Sometimes it's more dull, achy. I feel it 24/7. It's the only thing that's consuming my mind right now. So for me, it's worth it to get the surgery. If I was content just living a day-to-day life and sitting and not really doing much, honestly, you wouldn't really need to do anything in my case. I don't want to live my life like that. And so for me, the surgery is worth it, even though I know it will be super intense and really hard. But yeah, for me, it's worth it because I've already had to limit so much of my lifestyle. I can't load my back. I can't put a bar on my back because of my shoulder. I can't hinge or do certain things because of my hip, because I feel it way more. And so I kind of just had like a double whammy with both. I can't do much for my shoulder still. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries on the same one, and then the hip I get done tomorrow. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting it checked out. The only thing that you need is an x-ray to diagnose hip dysplasia.